Yeah, it is September the 15th, 2020, 2024. I can't tell what my orientation is. And I do mean sexually, but I do also mean on the internet. I thought I was gonna be able to put my damn phone sideways. I turned off that. Oh, I think we got it. Who knows what the hell kind of thing? I don't know up from down here. Caught in the matrix. Y'all just thought I would pop on real quick, you know? Not a lot of time, right? I gotta go to bed. I wanna go to bed early. I wanna wake up right. Ready to work my little heart out. All right. In order to, have an honest day's work under my belt. All right, but it is time for a little trying to do it not every day. Obviously, we already messed that up, but you can expect something probably almost every day. All right, maybe a little something, little confirmation. As if you were wondering, it does seem, and I don't know really if it's the second or third attempt, and when I say attempt, I mean recently on the Donald upon his head. And I don't know if it's the second or third one. I do remember something about Iran, which I don't believe a damn word of it, but like it was something about Iran, maybe a day or two after the first one, whatever the hell debacle that was. The little boy by the name of Crooks. All right. So you might be well aware, of course. It seems because now we're on like the second or perhaps third attempt, and this is just like what we know of. It seems very much like almost as though we're watching in real life and in real time, like an episode of The Road Runner and Wile E. Coyote, and just it seems as though Donald Trump's on like some sort of final destination type stuff, man. And it just so happens people, come around looking to end Donald Trump. Now, I don't know anything about it. I've heard probably less than you have at this point, but I just thought it would come down. Throw it into the capsule. All right. On this day, some more shenanigans. Now, what's interesting to note about this one, I mean, I think they have a suspect in custody, and he's looking like a demented boomer. Typically, does that mean anything? No, he's probably demented and a boomer, but that doesn't mean anything as far as guilt or, I mean, there's definitely an investigation that has to go through, but, um, it just seems odd. It's pointed out by, I believe I've already heard it from Alex Jones. I've already heard it from Candace Owens, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to point out, how do you just know? How do you just know? It almost seems like you had to have some sort of insider information or something. You can't just like randomly be able to get into the spot that you were in all undetected, and there's people making their rounds, securing the premises. You knew exactly where to go somehow. How did you know? Are you a wind up toy? And I'm pretty sure that, that is probably what we're going to find. And unfortunately, it's not going to get investigated. And I almost wish, I mean, I do wish that I was kidding, but I'm not. It's not going to get investigated. Here's another guy. All right. So the headlines I'm seeing, according to, in regards to this particular situation, over on the Drudge Report, and I like to especially go to the Drudge Report, because of the propaganda. All right, we got a Matrix Mark up in the building. Damn. I wonder what Matrix Mark's up to right now. I wonder if he's having perhaps a cigarette. And maybe even a warm cup of coffee or something like that. Is what I imagine. It could be a spot of tea. All right. I'm not sure, but I would like to know what's going on over there. I understand they're starting the day over there and what it's looking like over there. Now, this is just like obviously not surprising. Is exactly what we've been waiting for. It's going to continue to happen. All right. Like the damn, I don't know if they've seen it in Tasmania. Gosh, man, it's largely got to be because that it was like my era of cartoons, but the early 90s American cartoons had to be probably some of the best cartoons ever, right? And for example, the Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote is always chasing them. That's what it's like. Wile E. Coyote is the deep state, and it keeps failing cartoonishly, but however, getting closer and closer to getting that Road Runner and stuff. At this point, I don't know what Maytrey's heard because early in the morning, probably over there. Maytrey Mark said it's warm. It's a warm spring day. Man, I'm just imagining it right now, all dewy and green over there. It's probably amazing. It's gonna have a drive. It's gonna go to drive my mom and the dogs to the beach. Oh man, could you imagine? This year, for example, I tried to go, and it's not necessarily the beach, but a little bit of water fun that we like to have around these parts is going tubing down a river. I was very close to doing it. I wish you all the best at the beach. I mean, this that sounds fantastic, and to savor it, and also, it's kind of. I mean, obviously, y'all have heard of Tasmanian Devil, right? That's a very popular cartoon. I was just wondering about that, the Tasmanian Devil. Oh man, I thought it was pretty damn good. Donald the Road Runner. Donald is, in fact, the Road Runner in this scenario. And the thing is, of course, the Roadrunner never got caught because, like, technically, if the Roadrunner ever did get caught, it would be a very gruesome cartoon. And so they weren't trying to go there. But however, in real life, the Roadrunner for sure can get caught. And so that's what we're kind of dealing with. Like Alex Jones, for example, said, and I don't know if it's the only one, but he's saying, you know what, basically, you need to be in a bunker, right? You need to get to the bunker, hide in there. He said, specifically, he said, go into a bunker somewhere, hide for your life, and also be on the internet for like 8 hours a day, to kind of spread your words, spread your message, and stuff like that. I don't know personally what's practical. I can't pretend to know. I'm definitely not an expert in this situation, but it makes me wonder, gosh, would it be practical? And could it be a possible situation in which the president pre-election has to hide in a bunker, fearing for his life on the internet, delivering like kidnap messages to the public, even as early as September, and the elections in November. And then after, I mean, and I'm just wondering because I have no idea. I'm beyond. I have no idea. Is that like, of course, after the election, let's say hypothetically they let an election happen. Now, it looks like in the cards what they're banking on right now is what it looks like is escalation of war against Russia via NATO, which is obviously the United States. And so they want to get that nicely escalated, maybe not too escalated, but escalated enough because they are some psychopaths. And that likely will totally undo the election because up to this point, they seem, they do seem to be wanting to kill this guy, and it's just not working. All right. Just not working. Matrix Mark says Tasmanian Devil is owned by Warner Brothers, which I'm sure is a corrupt organization, probably. So we here in Tasmania use the devil as an advertisement. We get sued, yeah, because they're so damn corrupt, man. Of course, and they want to use your name and everything like that, and you just can't even get like that's terrible. I mean, it's totally believable. But Maitre Mark said the government were going to call a new ferry the Tassie Devil, and Warner Brothers took them to court. It's so sick. It's so sick. But there's old schoolers and there's people who's definitely paving the way for a new future now. Just like in general, I think it seems obvious to us that sometimes in the world of business, there are times when you can have a win situation and wins all around. Everybody makes money, right? Seems to me like, but see, they can't have it. It's like, seems to me, oh, what if you had the Tasmanian Devil? You had a big attraction and stuff. You had people come through, and that's what they see, and they remember that. Okay, you would make money through tourism, but not only that, you're reminding people of the Tasmanian Devil as free advertisement. But they can't. It's because even if it would make them money, and it surely would, this is not good enough, all right? Because they can't stand that you're making money off of something that they rightfully own and stuff, and that's how it goes. But we are in the middle of a reset. And when I say reset, I think things like that will be, definitely mitigated. But, anyways, tried to hit Donald Trump in the dome again. He was angry about the Ukraine, they said. They got a motive and they're mapping it all out about this random demented fella. And of course, like I said, it's textbook. It's what to expect. They're gonna definitely dig in and find out all the details of which don't matter. And the biggest details that do matter is like, for example, how did he know to be exactly at the place there where he was at? There's ways of finding out, but they're not gonna find out, obviously. Am I right? And that's where we're at. Former president uninjured after shots fired in the West Palm Beach. Gunman armed with assault rifle from 400 yards away, an AK-47. I believe my man just bought an AK-47. It is not this guy, but they just was so happen to both get AK-47s just recently. 2 backpacks and a GoPro. All right, so that's all we know. I don't know if there's more to talk about. Okay, escalation probably. I don't know. I'm gonna throw it out there. It's up to anybody. It's like anybody's guess right now. But in between what's today, September the 15th, and perhaps you would imagine November, early November, what could possibly be the mode to cancel the election? I feel escalation of war over there with Russia. I feel like that's the one that they're leaning towards. And also, you know, it's something that they definitely would like to escalate, but they would like to escalate it likely slower than they would have to escalate it in order to call off the election, right? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, or if I don't know if I understand what I'm saying, but it's like, the escalation of war would be a plan B. In my eyes, I don't know. I could be wrong. Is that the dramatic escalation of war with Russia would be a plan B, and a plan A would be, in fact, the murking of Donald Trump. Because if they murk Donald Trump, and they'll make a whole thing about that, and they pretty much got their stuff sewed up, and that's kind of like what they they're going to have to risk some sort of civil unrest, of which I don't know what that would look like. I really don't know. So make sure Mark he's headed off to the beach. We wish him the best. There might be some other stuff to talk about, but honestly, probably not. Probably not very much. All right. I mean, I've seen a few things, but that's pretty much it for right now, probably. So we're wishing Matrix Mike the best over there at the beach. Keep speaking the truth. One day the truth will become the news. And we will be on the correct side of history or something like that. I just couldn't call it when it comes to history and history books. It does seem very much like most people eventually become very, very forgotten, very, very forgotten up in the history books, you know, which is probably not a terrible thing, but I think people ultimately will be saved, I guess, by their spirit in memory. Like the universe will remember the spirit of them, even if there's no people remembering the names of them. All right. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but we're living in deep times. All right. And we're going to have to watch this closely. What does Donald Trump do next? There's another question. What do you think? Perhaps you could put it up in the comments section. How do you think they'll cancel the election? Do you think they had to cancel the election? I think they do, right? Because every time they try to attempt something on Donald Trump, it becomes more obvious and more absurd, thereby kind of like clinching the victory for Donald Trump. That's the exact opposite of what they want to do. So, but if they finally get a bullet or something in Donald Trump, well, then perhaps they'll be able to ease us ever so slightly into war with Russia in order to completely distract us from all their heinous and barbaric crimes that they do all over the place. I think that's pretty much sums up what the hell we got going today. And also, hey, on like a positive note, because there's plenty of positive things happening too as well. But before today, we were talking about, of course, somebody trying to gun down Donald Trump with an AK-47, like usual. Before that, for about a day or two, of course, people were talking about the eating of the dogs, the eating of the cats, the eating of the pets of the people over there in Springfield, Ohio. But also, I wanted to point out, and I wanted to point it out earlier, and I forgot the concept. And some people don't think it's enough. I think it's over the top, but the concept of not taxing overtime. Yeah. Do y'all even remember that? At the beginning of the weekend, it was going somewhat viral. Donald Trump had the idea to not tax. You have no federal tax on overtime wages. Now I don't know how many people live in America and from time to time have to do overtime hours. It's kind of a thing where the job has to get done and someone needs to be there to do it. All right. And so you wind up working 40 plus hours in a week. It's a lot of people. This describes a lot of people in America and for the longest time. When I first heard this, kind of blew my mind. Never really thought about it too hard because, of course, the government's not trying to, typically not trying to help me out in the financial realm of my life. Right? But however, I can only imagine if you take overtime hours and at least do not tax those, how many people would be even more eager and more just perhaps excited to work overtime hours? Because of course overtime hours are a sacrifice. to your lifestyle. You might not want to come in on Saturday morning. You might not want to stay 2 extra hours every day, but the job has to get done, right? So you could imagine how excited you would be, at least, to not have federal taxes taken out of your overtime pay, of course. If you were to extend that further, eventually you might come to the conclusion that it's actually retarded for the country, the government, if you will, to be taking any damn taxes out of our income tax, anyways, or our wages. That would be the logical conclusion eventually. Is, hey, why the hell is the country? How come y'all are taxing us real hard, and then when we do overtime, you're taxing us maybe even more money, and you get more money from our sacrifice? You're not sacrificing a damn thing. You're just, however, getting more money if I, in fact, sacrifice my life doing these overtime hours. All right. And I could thank a union for that. I could think of a whatever. But however, y'all are still taxing me. And, it's just an interesting concept for somebody to bring it up. And truth be told, I don't think it would, at this point, I think it's so big that I don't think I don't even think it's gay. All right. I don't even think it would be gay for half of America right now to all get on our knees and start sucking this guy off, to be honest with you. To start sucking this guy off because he's throwing out concepts that are, reasonable, that would help us out. And they're all sort of things that, I never thought that anyone would bring this up. I never dreamt that anyone would throw that out there. How come I haven't ever heard of this before now? Why in the world is the government taxing us on the overtime hours? That never made sense, and yet they've done it for God knows however many years. All right, so basically what I'm saying is that Donald Trump and the like, there's other such as Elon and other thought leaders out there, they're saying these ideas, I mean, we're being held down and oppressed in 1,000 ways. Doesn't matter what kind of skin color you have or whatever, you're being oppressed here in America, because if you weren't being so oppressed every which way, you would find out that it's easy as shit to win in America. I mean, damn, dude, if we weren't being taxed into oblivion, every MNF would be running around with a house, happy as shit, living their own life and creating their own castle and creating their own rules and being all independent and stuff. If we only had access to what we actually create. See, we're all getting it stolen from us over and over in 1,000 different ways, thereby kind of nudging us and nudging us and nudging us and nudging us and nudging us into poverty where they want us, even though we could be living like the Jetsons right the fuck now, but they can't have that. Basically, want to keep us down, and also their debt only grows more and more. It grows at an astronomical rate, and it's actually quite damn ridiculous. And now it's at the point that all of our taxes merely go to the interest on the debt. The debt is like a big black hole of where what happened with all our money. You stole it. You stole all our money, and you made all these derivatives and stuff like that. The chickens are coming home to roost. And instead of us catching y'all having stolen billions and even trillions of our dollars in labor, I mean, it's fake money, but it's actual real labor that you're robbing us out of. All right. Instead of all that, oh no, we have some sort of beef with Russia that I do not, I don't have that. All right. So they are pushing us towards kind of devastation. We'll see whether or not they're successful at that, but also at the same time, our minds are being blown as a general population. I think people have more opportunity than they have in recent times to have their mind blown, to expand their horizons, to start thinking outside of the box, because inside of the box we get taxed and R-worded all freaking day long into poverty and oblivion. And meanwhile, it's like they just pretend it's only happening to black people. And they try to say, no, it's only happening to black people. It's happening to every single one of us because they hate our guts and they want to keep us very poor. They invented money. They just want to dominate on us, stuff like that. They want to kill Donald Trump. And I just can't say that on YouTube, but hopefully they're not really listening, right? We're watching it. We're watching it all go down. Um, uh, and it's all about the reset. And it's just going to get all reset, right? I don't know. I got to get up out of here. I got to go to sleep. And then I got to go to work, and then I got to make America great again. All right. Believe it or not, I'm the one doing it. I'm the one behind it being great again. However, a lot of stuff to think about, or maybe not even think about it, but to be aware of at least, the assassinations and all that. Anyways, I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It is September the 15th, 2020, 2020, 2024.